Hey there, this is Hugo, and in this tutorial, I'm going to show you a simple dodge and burn technique for photo retouching, particularly portraits. It works extremely well, and close-ups, really anything that needs some dodging and burning. You can use the dodge and burn tools built in Photoshop. I find that doesn't give me a ton of control. So let's jump right into it, and we're going to use this, or we're going to do the dodging and burning with a curves layer. Um, and there was a tutorial out there that kind of did this, or that taught this. I don't know if it was a tutorial or a workshop that I went to, but just want to share this with you guys really quick. So you're gonna go in here and open a new adjustments layer, a new curves layer. You can also get to it through the menu under image adjustments and curves. There you go. And basically, this one's going to be our burning. So, I'm sorry, our dodging. So we're going to make it really dark, like so. And then I'm going to go ahead and invert that by hitting Command I, or you can go to again adjustments, image adjustments, invert, and that's going to hide it. Basically, what that does is that if you're not familiar with masking and stuff, that's going to allow us to paint in the areas that we want, only the areas that we want affected. So what we're going to do here is we're going to go into the brush tool, and we're going to select a brush that is all the way 100% hardness, and then a really small, really thin brush. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to make this a little bit bigger. I'm going to make this an 8. There you go. And oops. Then I'm going to come in and paint here. So I want to dodge the areas that you normally would dodge, and I'm doing this with my mouse, so it's a little rough, but you'll get the idea here in a second. So I want to dodge those areas a little bit. I want to dodge some parts in the hair here. That um, this is a photo shoot that I just did. The photographer did an amazing job here in North Hollywood, and I'm just touching up my portraits because I thought it'd be kind of cool and kind of fun. So I don't get to do this very often. I thought it'd be kind of cool. So you can just dodge the areas, and I'm going to make this a little bit smaller by using the brackets. If you're not familiar with shortcuts, go watch a tutorial on shortcuts because it'll save you a ton of time. But I'm using the brackets here to adjust. I can make my brush size bigger or smaller, as you probably already know. So I'm going to dodge this a little bit, and dodge this right here. I'm not really good at dodging and burning, but you'll get the idea here in a second. Um, the reason I like dodging and burning is because it gives you a nice contrast. I'm sorry, it gives you a nice depth to the image, and also if you do it correctly, which I'm probably not doing correctly, and it looks probably really weird right now. But I just want to show you the principle. I'm not going to go into too much here of what I'm actually trying to accomplish. Um, Basically, I'm just trying to give my image a little more depth, and I'm just free falling. Okay, cool. So once you have an idea, that probably looks really weird. Once you have an idea of of where you want to dodge, I keep saying dodge. Yeah, it's dodge. You then come in here to the properties panel, the layer mask properties panel, which you can just get to it by clicking that. If you want to adjust the darkness of the layer, you can do that here, but you're going to come here and actually click on the mask, and we're just going to give it some feather. So I'm going to give it about 20. I like to keep things probably around 22. Nope, 25. So if you can tell, that's what it looked like before, that's what it looked like after. It really gives a nice depth to the image versus just there it's kind of flat. Here now you start giving some of that depth to your images, right? So sometimes you can't really get it perfect in the studio. Like I wanted just a tad bit more shadows, but if we adjusted it in the studio, it would make it a little too shadowy. So I'd rather have it a little more exposed like that, nice and open, and then I'll come in and post and do that. If you wanted to change it again, let's come in here and move this back down to 0. I can see that there's some spaces here and here that need kind of some help. So I'm going to come in here and just paint a little bit, keep painting until you get the look that you're going for. So I want some more definition in my neck. I want some of this burned up a little bit, maybe some here in the shoulder. And you can do multiple layers. I'm just kind of doing this fast. I would suggest doing one for the face and then one for the other areas, um, and so forth. So, all right, there I got this fixed a little bit. I'm gonna do one more area here, and then I'm gonna change this back up, change the feather to 25. Basically, what that does is, if you don't know, like, see there, you can still see it. You can still, it's very defined, and here you can start positioning a little bit more, right? So I'm gonna actually, whoops, I'm gonna do 25. 25 is not enough now because I've done a little too much. So that's where having multiple layers of the same, multiple passes of the same kind of technique is really helpful. This is actually pretty cool because now I can see where the definition is. It just gives you a nice way to pronounce um, the shadows. That's probably not a good idea. It's a little tough to do it when the feather is on, so I suggest kind of leaving it something like that, and then I'll give you a better idea of the areas that that can cover. Um, so let me actually make this back to a 10. I'll fast forward here in a little bit because I want to show you the um, burning technique. I'm just gonna do one more. That's probably too big. Make it 5. Boom, boom, and then make this 40. So there you go. So anyways, that's the dodge, right? And I keep using. I hope I'm using the terms right. But basically, I want to make those areas dark so I have more shadow. I'm gonna do one more, and I'm gonna make this one really quick. And I'm gonna do the opposite. So I opened another curves layer. I'm gonna make this bigger, brighter, about yay, and then I'm gonna invert it by hitting Command I, or in the properties or in the menus up here. And then I'm gonna do the same exact thing, but for the opposite, for the areas, for the highlights, for the areas that I want to highlight. So I'm gonna jump in here and just highlight a little bit of this. Um, Give me some more highlights here, here, maybe in the lip, maybe a little, probably not the catch light. Just to make it a little more pronounced. Whoops. Right. Give it some highlights here and here as well. Here, basically opposite of where you burned, that's where you would do the highlights. I'm gonna give it some highlights here and here, and then maybe give it a little more highlight. No, that's stupid. I'll do that later. So that's it. I'm not gonna go into too much detail here, but basically you would do the same thing, and then just kind of do it to your liking. About yay, I think that's pretty good. I'm gonna come back down here. You see this little spot right here? I don't know why it just looks weird. I have a little spot. So anyways, I'd also do it here just to the dodging and burning is a really good way to slim your subject too, so make them a little bit skinnier, which is why I'm doing this one. But all right, so I'm gonna make this 20 or 30. Change this to 25. Again, I'm just adjusting the feather, and that's what it looks like. See, it just kind of gives me a nice little pop. And you don't want to overdo it, obviously, but here's what that would look like before and after. It just gives it more depth. I think I did a pretty bad job on the highlights, but I definitely like the shadows. The work that I did here on the shadows just gives you this nice depth. Hope this was pretty helpful for you guys. And if you want to see any more Photoshop tutorials or kind of creative tutorials, let me know. I probably won't get to them, but just let me know, because I don't usually do this as much. But right now I thought I would do it because I might also forget how I did this, and it'd be cool for me to go back and learn how to do it again. Thanks. Bye.